We recently published state-of-the-art results on LongMemEval, and we beat the previous best, which was about 71%, by quite a bit. We achieved 86%. Let's get into this cool result. We achieved SOTA on LongMemEval. Can you give high-level overview of the approach we used to achieve this result?
Well, I think we should probably start with the principal learning or fact emerged or that is proven by this benchmark. And that is that if we take these 500 turns of conversation in a haystack and give it to several of the best models out there, like O1, O3, for example, that they don't do so well. And we, just using this conversational memory in fairly simple ways, we're able to go past the performance of those language models when they were given the full context.
So I can add one more thing. So even before that, like the previous competitor had 71%. So we just even tried a very simple technique where we even beat the latency. So latency is like basically the session per item, like how much time is it taking to retrieve the session per the second per item, and that result got around 76%. So that was the first breakthrough before the 86% went out. So in that we just had a very simple turn level retrieval with some chain of thought prompting, and that was even able to defeat the latency of the whole system.
So just doing good, finding the right granularity and an appropriate chain of thought got us way past the prior state of the art. And then doing that increasingly well and using perhaps slightly better memory indexing and retrieval techniques is how we walked it up to 86.
One of our earliest results that just showed that it's possible to beat ZEP's, the prior state of the art, ZEP 72%. One early result we had was we said, okay, well, our processing of the haystack is we're just going to memorize the haystack. And then when we're given the question, we're going to go through the entire haystack, conversation by conversation with the question in mind. And then, so this is sort of a chain of note approach. And so, okay, we'll take the first conversation, sort of by date. Given the question, what's relevant from this conversation? What conclusions can we make? And we're only interested in answering this question, so discard anything irrelevant. Okay, given that, our conclusions from the first conversation and the question and the second conversation, do the same thing and sort of keep this accumulating body of knowledge to answer the question.
What kind of benchmark do we need to truly measure performance in an enterprise setting?
One next step is having some evaluation for what we might call process or procedural memory. So the LongMemEval benchmark is evaluating, factual knowledge over the course of a conversation, but not all types of things you might want to remember fall into that category. So in enterprise settings, it's crucial to remember tasks or processes or workflows that you might want to reuse. So one effort is to build a benchmark that accurately measures those types of memory.
Paul, you recently published a post on the site which zooms in on personalization performance for memory, very specifically.
Personalization is an instance of what we started with. We're going to augment conversational memory with a second kind of memory, which is the personal profile, and we're going to demonstrate its effect on this category of personalized questions in the benchmark. And that result's published. Doing that lifted the performance on those questions significantly.
What I want is an assistant that automates all the tedious stuff for me. And where I'm in the loop, so I can guide it, but I will have to take the wheel less and less often. And so long-term memory is a huge component of that, because every time I take the wheel or every time I have to explain something, okay, I'll take the wheel this once, I'll show you how to do it this one time, or explain it this one time. But if I have to explain it again, I start getting grumpy. So that's what I'd like to do. And then, so long-term memory is what I'm doing now is that where I constrain myself to using the assistant to do whatever I'm doing, analyze data, file expense reports, whatever it is. And then where I'm forcing myself to use the assistant and getting the assistant to the point where I can just explain it, in English. No, we use RAMP for our expense reports. And then it remembers for next time, it figures out the rest.